Hey folks, welcome back to Ken Michaels Radio. Thanks for all of you who have been tuning in for all my Beatles programs and interviews that I have here on the channel. With me this time are some friends of mine from Massachusetts that I've known for quite some time now. It's Rachel and Wayne CABRAL. And for several years, they put together an event every year, well, every year except when COVID hit, which used to be called Harrifest, and now it's called the George Harrison Tribute. And in addition to that, they've been part of a Beatles tribute band, which is not your typical Beatles tribute band, called the Onos. And we're going to talk about the George Harrison Tribute Show, which is coming up October 28th and 29th at White's in Westport, Massachusetts. And we'll talk about the Onos as well. So, Rachel and Wayne, welcome.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Ken.
It's been great being friends with you for several years, and I've attended this event, which, like I said, was called Harrifest, and I've enjoyed it every time I've gone there. For those of you that don't know, it's a tribute to George Harrison, but you'll get artists all over New England that will come over and perform George's music, but the other Beatles as well is mixed in as far as the performances are concerned. Why don't you talk about the George Harrison tribute and how it all started? What gave you the idea to do this?
Well, we started back in 2004. It was a couple of years after George passed, and we thought we'd like to do something in his name. So we thought, why not get some bands together, do an event, do some, concert, play some music, and then take the money and do something good with it in his name. So we started out small with a little, maybe 4 or 5 bands and, a couple of hours, and had it in a place called the Water Street Cafe in Fall River.
Mm-hmm.
And then every year after that, it kept growing, and we outgrew that event, that venue, and we went to a new place, and we've just kept growing year after year. And we give the money to various cancer-related charities. For the last few years, it's been hospice, the local hospice, but we've given money to St. Jude's and American Cancer Society over the years. But visiting nurses, is hands-on and local, and you can actually see your money in action. So we give the money to them.
Tremendous. Yeah.
We thought as George died of cancer, cancer was the way to go for our event.
Sure. Do you know if Olivia or Danny, if anyone in the Harrison family is aware of what you've been doing?
Oh, I believe they are, actually. I think Rachel has a tale about them.
Well, we did actually, for 1 year, we got listed on the George Harrison website as an event.
Wow.
That was listed. We had a contact in Liverpool who heard about our event and talked to Olivia, and somehow we ended up on the website for a couple of years. And I'm not sure we're there anymore, but hey, we were there for a while, which was great.
It's great that they acknowledge you guys. You got to be proud.
Way better than having them shut us down.
Give us an idea of some of the acts that have performed through the years at Harrifest. I really shouldn't be calling it Harrifest, but it's the George Harrison tribute.
Well, actually, we were the George Harrison tribute for our first 10 years. Then on our 10th anniversary, we called it Harrifest. It was kind of a big celebration. And it's been Harrifest for a few years. And then, just recently we started going back to the George Harrison tribute.
Mm-hmm.
But as for bands, we've had about 10 bands per year. And, some of them are the same, but every year we try to get at least 2 or 3 new bands. So we've probably had about 30 to 40 bands over the years. We've had the Onos, which is our band. We've had the Mockers, who have played a lot, and they're some friends from New Hampshire. We've had Studio 2. A lot of people know them. There's just so many. It's impossible to actually name them all. We've also had, obviously, some guests. We've had Greg Hawkes from the Cars come down and play a few different years, and that was great. And I'm trying to think of anybody in particular. Just so many. The Criers, they play a lot of Beatle events and festivals, and they've played a couple of years.
Yeah, Joe Orlando is a very well-known guy in Beatle circles.
Right. I've seen the Criers several times. Sometimes Steve Holly has drummed for the group.
Yes.
Right.
Lee has played with them.
Yep.
Right.
Also, Jeff Slate played with us.
Jeff Slate. I'm sure you know Jeff Slate as well.
Paradox.
Or is it Paradox?
Yep. Yep, they
Yeah.
played it.
Paradox.
Yeah, he does a lot of interviews and, writes for magazines, music magazines. He played with one of our events. So
Yeah,
yeah, we've had quite a few people.
yeah. Jeff has been very visible in Beatle circles, especially the Fest for Beatles
Mhm,
fans.
mhm.
Massachussetts, Rhode Island, he plays there
Yes.
at the beach almost every year, I think. But is there anything in particular you look for with any of these acts? Are you looking for something unique?
Yeah. Well, as you know, you may know one of our performers. His name's Jeffrey. And Jeffrey DeSera, and he's been I don't know how many years already,
A bunch.
but he does he does the hardcore George songs. He does some Todd Rundgren, and he's been known to come up there and do some a cappella versions of deep tracks, and so yeah, we like to have people, I mean, any band can get up there and do kind of the same 10 Beatles songs, and that's great in its place, but it's also nice to throw in bands and performers who could do something that you don't hear
Hmm.
anytime, usually. So
We-
that's what we look for.
We encourage our bands to go off the track.
Yep.
Even delving into Beatle related,
Yes.
Beatle adjacent, that kind of thing. And it's the place where you'll hear the oddball stuff, as you know, because you've been many times.
Yep.
And I love the
It's not going to be She Loves You and I Want to Hold Your Hand all day long.
And Jeffrey, for those of you that don't know, happens to be my stepson. And he a lot of different musical instruments. And
Mhm.
I was kind of surprised when a few years ago he did Be Here Now, which is one of, to me, the most powerful
Yes.
George.
A highlight of all our shows.
Yeah, but he did that a cappella.
That was a highlight.
Which
He
takes,
did, and it was amazing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, very proud of him. He plays a lot of different musical instruments. You never know what to expect. And like you said, Greg Hawkes has been a guest, and
Mhm.
certainly the Cars were big Beatle fans, so it's not out
Yes.
of place for Greg to do a Cars song. And if you're doing artists
Not
like,
even
No.
hmm,
Mm.
what's that?
not even a little. He's a tremendous guy, as you know.
Oh, I know. He's a sweetheart. He's so down to earth. And I met him several years ago when he put out a CD of Beatle covers all on ukulele, which we've seen him perform at the George tribute
Yep.
through the years. And you've also had some other guests, like I've seen authors there,
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
like
Yep.
Kenny Leonard.
Yeah, we've had some authors. My Date with the Beatle. Wow, it's amazing. There's so many of them. I can't even think of individuals to point out. I know there was an author who wrote a book about unfortunately the children from Sandy Hook, and
Yeah.
she came and promoted her book many years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've had
Jude, who wrote the Lennon book.
yes, yep, and we've had Sean Weiss
Oh, yeah.
to our event, and obviously he's well known in Beatles circles. His father was the Beatles American lawyer, so he's been involved with them. He knows them very well, and he was actually one day he wasn't feeling very well, and he was in the hospital, and he called me and he said, I don't know if I'm going to make it to Harrifest, because he lives in New York and we're about 4 hours away. And he got out of the hospital and got in his car and still made it, and got there and talked and did a whole little presentation. And so I mean, that's a trooper.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
He's got amazing stories to tell
he
with
does.
his father,
Yeah.
Weiss. And
Mhm.
yeah, you could do an interview that can go on for an hour plus.
Yeah, yeah,
I think the fans would be quite enraptured with all the things that he was involved with.
hmm
You saw the Beatles,
definitely.
the Ed Sullivan Show,
Mhm.
64, the first show. He's on the Apple rooftop
Mhm.
for their concert. A lot of different things. You've also had raffles as well.
Yes.
Talk
Yep.
about some of the things you've given away.
Definitely. I mean, this year I'm still working on the raffles, but we're very, very lucky in the way that this community comes together. People will, donate things to me, ahead of time. They'll show up that night and hand me something, and it's all from rare memorabilia to albums to clothes. we've had guitars. I mean, again, we've done this for 17 years, so there's just so much. This year we have a lot of baskets. People are really, looking into making baskets, for holidays, some for music. So we have a little bit of rock and roll, but then we also just have regular everyday things too that, just people like to win in a raffle.
Right.
What else have we done? We've done
a highlight of a lot of the shows has been Eric Taros, who, as you know, is one of the foremost collectors of Beatle video and Beatle related video. And he has on a few occasions come and done special videos of his stock just for Harrifest.
Yep.
So people have seen one of a kind video stuff that they can't see anywhere else, which is great.
Right. You've also had Chachi LaPrette there.
Chachi's a regular, yeah.
As an MC.
Yes.
So, and Chachi and Eric have done shows together.
Yes.
They still do.
Yep.
Yeah, actually quite a bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the first things they did was at our Harrifest. They put together a show of rare movie clips and unseen footage, and they came in and they talked about it. And that was one of the first video presentations we had. And then we had another year where they did a panel where they had David Gallant from, I think it's Suffolk University in Boston, who teaches an actual Beatles course, college level Beatle course. And he and Candy Leonard, came in and they actually did a whole presentation and, different topics. And so they did that for a few years in a row where we'd have the, different panel discussions and, promotions and things like that.
Now, most of the time when I've attended Harrifest, I've been there on the Saturday. But you have events on Friday night. You want to tell the folks what's the difference between coming Friday night and spending the day Saturday?
Well, our main event is Saturday, and that's what I call our Harrifest musical concert. But a lot of our people are diehards. I mean, they really want to come in and they don't want to have just one day. And so we started doing something called the night before VIP party. And what it was just an opportunity for everybody to come down a little earlier, hang out, spend some time together, catch up. A lot of people are friendly. And so, it gives us a chance to check in with each other. So over the years, we've done it a few times where we, get together, and I called it the VIP night before party and Savoy truffle dessert bar. So what your ticket gets you is, it gets you a dessert bar. I go out and I buy lots of desserts, and, people come in and they can, pick out whatever they want. And then, some years we have panels. This year in particular, we're just having music because this is the first year I'm doing it again. It's a new venue. So, feeling it out. But this year we're going to do it on Friday night from 7 to 10. And again, it's $20 for a ticket. If you come down, it'll be in a smaller room, a little more intimate. You'll get to meet the band. Wayne's going to do a set of music, and then the Onos are going to do a set of music. And then, like I said, included is your dessert buffet. So that's just kind of like a little pre-party to get you in the Harrifest mood. And then the main event is Saturday, and that's where we have 8 different bands, and we start at 3 o'clock and we're supposed to end at 11, and we usually end way after 11, and we just kind of go all night and have lots of music and lots of fun.
Yeah, it's a great love fest, as you know. People really, really love the event. It's a family.
Yeah.
And as you said, the money goes to cancer research.
Yep. We don't keep it. I mean, what we do is basically once I pay for the room fee and once I pay for my sound man and anything else we have to pay out of pocket, we just take the money and, we reserve the room for the next year, and then everything that's left over, we just donate. And what's great is, over the years, like I said, I'd send the money to American Cancer Society. And then one year I decided just to try hospice. And the woman who was one of the head of the hospice called me, and she was like, I love that you're doing this. And, how can we help? And after that, she actually started coming to my event, and she comes every year. She donates herself personally. Like, she makes raffle items, and she shows up every year, buys a ticket, she attends, and like they put us in their book for hospice as donors. And actually she and I have become friends, and I actually now help them when they do when hospice does their own fundraisers. I'm on their committee, and I help them run their own fundraisers too. Just from doing this, we kind of got together, and now I help them.
That's just fantastic. You not only enjoy yourself by hearing all this tremendous music, hanging out with fans, making new friends, but it's all
Mhm.
for a cause. And this year, even though I've been there on the Saturdays, once in a while I get up on stage and say a few words, but I'll be
Oh,
doing
absolutely.
a little bit of emceeing and maybe some Beatles trivia and giving away some.
Sure.
You'll help me clean out this room, which is so
Ah, nice.
at this
That's
point.
great.
You know,
We've got a room that looks quite like it.
well, compared to my co-hosts on my podcast shows, their rooms are very organized, and so you guys will be helping me out because I'll be able to get rid of some of this stuff. So yeah, I'm looking. And we're going to include in our description box here for the video how people can find out more. You have a Facebook page and you also have a website, which will be right there.
Yes.
So tell
Mhm.
us about the Onos, because as you probably know, I I don't know. I love Beatles tribute bands in many ways, but I like bands that do something different or have a certain angle about them. You mentioned
Mhm.
too. They're a tremendous band that specializes in early Beatles music, the stuff the Beatles released for EMI at the very beginning of their careers, plus what they did in Hamburg, what they did for BBC Radio, that kind of stuff. So you're not just going to hear the hits and very typical stuff. The
Mhm.
Onos, every time I've seen them perform, it's a mixture of Beatles and solo, and you go deep. And
Yeah, we
I
try to
like
go
when
deep.
bands do that. So tell us
Yes.
about the whole concept of the Onos. When did the band start, and how did you decide what the music mix was going to be?
Do you want to go all the way back to letter B?
Well, we did start out as a band called Letter B, and then we kind of just changed over a little bit and morphed into the Onos. And it was supposed to be a one-off project that we were doing for John Lennon tribute, and we were doing all hardcore John Lennon solo music.
A lot
And
of Plastic Ono Band, a
yeah,
lot of
Very
yeah.
that type of stuff.
And we thought the Onos were a funny name, for Yoko Ono, and but we're Oh No, so we thought that was clever. And then I don't know, it just kind of stuck. And then we just really started doing lots of solo, from all four Beatles, Badfinger. We do some Monkeys, and then we do some other things here and there. I mean, basically, if we like a song, we do it. And then over the years we've learned some of the hits, the stuff that everybody else does, and that way we can do whatever we need. If somebody wants to hear She Loves You, we'll play it. But if you really want to hear something that nobody else plays, then we'll play that too. So
We thought if we could do Deep Lennon, we could also do Deep Paul, and we could also do Deep George,
yep,
and we could also maybe do some Deep Ringo.
yeah,
So that's basically the basis of the band.
yep,
You could
We'll
do
go
Deep
deep.
Blue,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
deep feeling.
Right.
Yeah, but that's what I love about the group. And I always, I'm thankful that every time that I see you guys, you dedicate Don't Let Me Wait to me.
Oh,
Yes.
You know how much I love living in the material world.
Mhm.
yes.
So yeah, have you taken requests for deep cuts, or are you when you have a concert? Is everything already etched in stone? What you're going to play all the time?
For the most part, etched in stone. I would say occasionally we'll do something off the track, but usually it's pretty much etched in stone.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
how often does the band play? Yeah.
And that's hard to say. We don't actively go out looking for things. We'd like to do events. So
Mhm.
we're not like a bar band. We don't pop out into bars and do stuff, but we luckily through all our connections, people like you, we're able to play bigger things. So we play maybe 10, 15 times a year, but the 10 or 15 times a year we play are nice events,
Right.
bigger things like you just saw us at Super Mega Fest.
Uh-huh.
We'll do bigger venues. We'll do Charles Rosenay's stuff,
Yep.
which are bigger events as well, and we do big events locally as well.
Mhm.
We'll do the town circuit, like the big concerts the summertime concerts that they have
Right.
locally. We'll do those, but you'll never catch us in a bar because we're way too old for that.
Are all the dates in Massachusetts? Because I certainly would love to see you play a bit more often in Connecticut.
Yeah, they're not all in Massachusetts. Actually, we'll do Rhode Island. We'll basically play anywhere that anybody asks us to play.
Yeah.
To be honest.
We've come down to Connecticut a few times.
Yeah, we've done Connecticut a few times.
I mean, like I said, it just depends on what's needed, because certain gigs, will be for, the town ones, that's the general public and they want to hear the hits. So we'll do the hits. But then when we play a Beatle event, that's when we can really bring out the songs that, only the diehard fans know. And that's when we have the most fun, when we can play something that like no other band plays. We have a great community of Beatle bands locally. Just like 4 or 5 that are right in our area. And obviously there's probably, some songs that we all play and we all overlap, but it's nice to be able to do something that they don't. And it's great too, because they're all good Beatle bands and we're all friendly. So sometimes we share gigs, sometimes, we work together. We do a lot of shows with like Walrus Gumboot from down the Cape.
Right.
They're a great band, great bunch of guys. We love playing with them. So we do a lot of double billing with them over the years, and they'll be at Harrifest this year. So that's nice. We get to, have fun with a lot of our friends and do different music and,
But that's the flip side of the coin of doing like you said, you love Don't Let Me Wait Too Long as we do, but not everybody even knows Don't Let Me Wait Too Long.
Right.
So we might play a place that gets a blank stare from that, but we're doing it for you. We're not doing it for them. If I know Ken likes Don't Let Me Wait Too Long, I'm going to do it for Ken. So
it's kind of like what I do in radio. You play a song that's a deep cut that a lot of people may not know, but then you follow a song that everyone knows. So
Yeah,
you have a whole set of really obscure songs. You got to know everything, which I think you guys do a great job at doing. But I that's one of the things that I love about going to Harrifest or Charles's conventions or something similar like Abbey Road on the River. You get a taste of all these bands from, well, in your case, New England, but and the same thing with Charles. Charles's stuff that he does in the summertime, it's mainly New England, some New York bands, but each one is different in its own way. They have a different approach. And I like that. You might get a band that does just solo music. If you go to Abbey Road on the River, there are bands there that specialize in Traveling Wilburys, Raspberry, Badfinger, and mix all that together. And I dig all that stuff. I don't just want to see the typical Beatle band doing the same songs. And even I'm not even one of those people that likes when bands dress up like the Beatles and have the wigs.
Yeah, nor I.
But you get a taste of all that at some of the festivals, and but your band is more to my liking because of the mix of what you do. Yeah, I don't mind hearing the hits, even though a lot of it is the stuff that's played so much. But once in a while, you stick in "Don't Let Me Wait Too Long" or something else. And what's probably the most obscure song or a few songs that you can think of that you've done in
anything off Plastic Ono Band? Maybe
we do God. We do
God.
Isolation.
What else off Plastic Ono Band?
I mean, we do Cold Turkey. I'm Losing You.
Right.
Not really super obscure. Okay, George Harrison, we do You.
Yeah.
Don't Let Me Wait Too Long. What else? I'd Have You Anytime.
Nice.
Paul, I wouldn't say we're too obscure with Paul, although we do
Getting Closer.
Getting Closer, which is unusual. I don't think I've ever heard another band do that one.
So
Ringo, we do the No song.
Okay. Even though they're singles, some of what you've mentioned, they're singles that don't get airplay anymore, really, on the radio. Unless it's on a Beatles show, especially on the weekend. Like Getting Closer, you're really not going to hear on the radio at all. Which is a shame. It's good rock.
We'll do Cheese and Onions.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
To a lot of people, you've gained all the credibility that you need just from that one song.
Yeah, Cheese and Onions is a crowd pleaser.
Yeah, we do that one.
It really is.
And even with the Beatles, we do we do Long.
Blue Jay Way.
Blue Jay Way, which I've never really heard that many bands do. We do Your Mother Should Know. So You know, we try to do, you know, as many obscure songs or, you know, deeper cuts as possible.
For someone like myself, I never consider anything from the Beatles catalog to be obscure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
I
are
see
some
that.
songs that really hardly ever get airplay, except on a Beatles special on the radio or something. But
Mhm.
Long, Long, Long is definitely in that category. It's one I really treasure. So
Yeah.
I'd rather hear that than hear Here Comes the Sun again.
Yes.
You
Yep.
know, nothing
Yep.
against the real classic ones, something Here Comes the Sun
Mhm.
on my
All
guitar.
right, we'll,
But
we'll pull out Well, 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 which
nice.
is, yeah, which is nice too.
Mhm.
Gets a lot of blank stares, that one too, but
But it's fun.
so it is. Gives
But
me a chance to scream for 3 minutes.
you must have some loyal following from fans that want the obscure stuff.
We do.
Yes.
We absolutely do. Yeah, people love that stuff, and we're actually catering to them because I've been playing Beatles all my life. So
Uh-huh.
for me to play Penny Lane again, you know, is quite boring actually. But digging deep is where, and this band was started to dig deep. That was our. But you don't make money digging deep. So if we want to keep going, eventually we have to make a little money too.
Right.
So we throw in the, you know, the hits.
You know, it's the same thing in radio, but really,
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm
no, it
aware
is.
of what radio plays, and over the years, what they've eliminated from playing that used to get airplay. So to sneak in all that stuff, you got to find a way to mix it with the stuff that most people know. So, but I think you guys do a
Yeah.
good job of that, and just wish that you know, have more
Thank you.
gigs that I could see you more often. But I'll have to make sure
Oh,
that
get us a gig in Connecticut. Get us a show in Connecticut, and we'll be there.
I'll work on that. I definitely will.
Please do.
Okay.
You know,
So what's that?
I said, you know, we'll be there.
Okay. Hey, got my whole family here. Jeffrey will help you out all you want. He'll be on every song.
It's true, yeah.
Excellent.
I mean, he knows. It's amazing how much he knows of the solo catalog. And some of that is what I've taught him, you know, but when he really knows the deep stuff, it does my heart good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm a
And as we all do, Jeffrey and I share a love for Todd Rundgren as well. So
So do I. I
I
interviewed
know.
I interviewed Todd. So that's on my website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's another one who, you know, big Beatle fan, very complicated person, musically eclectic, all over
Mhm.
the place, in a way similar to Paul, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can certainly see why a lot of Beatle fans love Todd, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
No
Great.
doubt.
Like I said, I'm going to include the links for your Facebook page and your website. And again, the dates are October 28th and 29th for the George Harrison tribute, formerly Harrifest. And it's at White's in Westport, Massachusetts. Okay. Great.
You
Yes.
got it.
Yep.
This has been fantastic. I'll have to have you on more often here on the channel so we can talk more Beatles,
That'd be great.
certainly more solo.
Yeah. That'd be great.
He'd love to be back.
Thanks for being here and to everyone watching, and we'll see you again real soon. Take care.
Bye-bye
See ya.
now.